Okay, so I think we're past the hour and we're ready to start. So hello and welcome to our monthly webinar focusing on Rahi's critical infrastructure portfolio. My name is Marcus Doran and I am the General Manager here for Rahi Systems in Europe. This month's webinar is in conjunction with our friends and partners from Lenovo. And in the hot seat presenting today is Disha Sharma, who is a workstation product specialist at Lenovo. And she works closely with the team at Rahi Systems and is based out of Raleigh, Lenovo headquarters, working alongside Kathy Bill. She's relocating to Los Angeles to be closer to the Rahi team and will be working on all workstation opportunities and engagements that are customer facing. She will be supporting Dan Cox and Louis Castro also, who are PC generalists on the account. Now, as part of our monthly webinars, we encourage the attendees to ask questions through the chat box. When it comes to the end of the presentation from Disha, we will circle back to those questions through the chat box. And if we don't get to them individually, we will come back and answer those after the actual presentation itself. So again, I'd like to thank you for attending, and now I'll hand it over to Disha. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining in on today's webinar. My name is Disha Sharma, and I'm a workstation product specialist at Lenovo. I'll be discussing the revolution of workplace efficiency. So when I say workplace efficiency, I mean that we'll discuss how the landscape of the traditional office has changed drastically over the last decade and what kind of impact that has had on customers that you're selling into. It helps understand what their pain points are so that you can cater a solution that's specific to their needs. So let's get started. First up, IT trends. You'll notice that these quote-unquote buzzwords are in the industry. Everyone is talking about these, but not everyone is necessarily at a point of being ready to invest in or start deploying these technologies. So in the mobile and desktop workstation space, which is where I play, augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality development is a really big talking point outside of just gaming, where it has traditionally been seen as the most prevalent. Hand in hand with that is artificial intelligence development and overcoming the limitations that we see on the AI that already exists in our world today. So modern IT allows for remote access to devices, which is fantastic for a company, but in the case of security and threats from hackers, not so much. So there's larger emphasis on data and device protection and optimizing uptime. 5G connectivity falls into that optimization piece. A faster and more reliable network enhances a user experience pretty considerably. And in a time where we've gotten accustomed to a web page loading in just a few seconds, that user experience piece is critical. The modern workplace is evolving. So consumerization, technology advances, and a changing employee demographic are driving an evolution of the workplace. The frictionless, tailored experiences that drive retail loyalty are rapidly transferring to the workplace. Employees expect modern, efficient, and effective workspaces that deliver always on, secure, connected, and tailored experiences. Now, these experiences must flex to be delivered in every form and format that today's office takes on. So, a positive workplace experience drives employee loyalty, just as it does consumer loyalty, patient loyalty, etc. And this is across every industry. Workplace efficiency will impact business. Now, when we fail to deliver, quote unquote, like Amazon, customer churn, patient churn, employee churn, it all increases. So 50% of surveyed employees expect to be working in smart offices by 2022. And over 80% of millennials, myself included, said that workplace technology would have an influence when deciding to take a job. And 60% of millennials would rather receive high-tech perks at work rather than, so-called low-tech perks like, ping pong, free food, nap chairs, things like that. So looking at other industries, Accenture found that nearly half of patient consumers are willing to change care providers to have tailored experiences like pre-service billing alerts, text message appointment reminders, and tailored bill payment. So an efficient workplace that delivers more than productivity, automation, security, it delivers the technology, the resources that a business would need to retain their top talent while meeting the demands of a changing economy. And all of this aligning to help them stay ahead of their competition. So that is the need that they're looking for that you have to address as the reseller. So the key topics that I'm going to be going over today for workplace efficiency, optimize. So how can we optimize a workspace and uptime? Security is going to be a big piece. So how do we maintain that our devices are secure, that your data is secure, and that your online activity is also secure? And then the evolution of today's workplace and how we intend what we intend to see going forward. Now, optimize your workplace, number one. Workspace optimization, equip employees with the right endpoint devices to reduce cubicle clutter and enable mobility without compromising on productivity. That's going to be the key Lenovo message in this segment. Now, the way that that kind of translates into as far as a workplace is the different types of meeting spaces and office spaces that are going to be used in an environment. And full disclosure, the pictures that are taken in this section are actually from our Lenovo campus in Morrisville, North Carolina. The building 6, which was where our sales team sits, is in this picture right now. So number one, shared space. So this is for short-term interactions with a small number of people. So what kind of classifies as a shared space would be something like a library, open lounge, open work areas, as you can see in the picture. Next up is team space. So this is meant for kind of group work, large or small teams of individuals, and these spaces classify as these team rooms, conference rooms, etc., or these huddle spaces. So again, this picture is from our Morrisville campus, and that wall that the woman is standing by is actually a dry erase board. So that's how we use that to kind of collaborate and share ideas within the confines of a traditional office space. And last, we have focus spaces. So these are individual spaces for work that requires specific level of concentration or privacy. So this includes work areas, sit-stand desks, which was in that first picture, if you saw. There's phone rooms, focus rooms, etc. But it's meant to give you a level of privacy and allow you to fully concentrate on your task. Now, from the Lenovo side, we're not providing any sort of office supplies or resources to build these kind of rooms. What we do supply is those endpoint devices to help enable the collaboration of ideas. Now, what you'll see first is that ThinkCenter Tiny. So it actually slips right into the back of that ThinkCenter Tiny in one monitor, and it essentially gives you a full all-in-one experience with a higher level of serviceability. So if that desktop goes down, you can slide it right out, replace it with another desktop, or if the monitor goes down, the entire unit's not defunct now. You can replace the monitor, you can replace the desktop, or if you have to replace a specific component within the desktop, it's much easier to do than trying to take an entire all-in-one apart. So you get more essentially out of your meetings. In the middle, we have the ThinkSmart Hub 500. So that essentially is click to touch. You join into your Skype for Business meeting. So you eliminate that downtime at the beginning of meetings where everyone's trying to join in and figure out how to present content. Can everyone see my screen? Can everyone hear me, etc. Very much eliminates that. So the first 15 minutes that are kind of spent trying to figure that out, you get more out of your meeting. And the last one, which I'll go into a little bit more detail later on, Unified Workspace, which essentially will consolidate all of your company resources and then create a very easy to use tab for your end user, in which all of their third-party applications, websites, etc., are all consolidated on one platform that is customizable by them. So security is a really big piece. Downtime reduction is the basis of this. So you want to eliminate risk to businesses and focus on aligning IT with users' maximum efficiency. So spilling coffee, or in this case, entire bottle of wine, is actually a common workplace hazard. When creating our devices, we want to ensure that a scenario like this doesn't leave an employee without access to their units and data for an extended period of time, and just to avoid unnecessary downtime, especially if that user plays a critical function within that company. So Lenovo prides ourselves on passing 12 Milspec tests for all of our 2018 commercial ThinkPads. So what those Milspec tests entail are cold, heat, vibration, high temperatures, altitude, fungus, dust, etc. And why is that important? Why do your users care about that? Why do you care about that? At the end of the day, if a laptop can withstand something like radiation or crazy temperatures, extreme temperatures, etc., it can withstand pretty much anything that an employee can do on a day-to-day basis. So whether that's spilling coffee on a laptop or dropping it or leaving it in the trunk of their car on a hot summer day, it is built to withstand military level conditions, so it can withstand daily abuse. And what does that mean? It means that you got a more ruggedized system, one that's going to last you much longer and last your employees much longer, which reduces overhead costs for the company that you're selling into. So your ROI, much greater. On the security piece, it's important to know that Lenovo creates the shell. And it's not just Lenovo, it's our competitors as well. But what goes into the computer is components from multiple different companies. So if you look at, your CPU, it's coming from AMD or Intel. GPU, AMD, Intel, NVIDIA. Your RAM's coming from Micron or Samsung. Your SSDs, multiple different suppliers. Now, when you have multiple suppliers for specific components and you're pulling from several different companies, that actually increases a risk factor as far as security goes. If any one of these companies has any kind of breakdown in the security that they use to secure the components, we run into an issue overall. So now how Lenovo addresses that is that we are very proud to be the industry's only trusted supplier program. So what that means is that we have a 100+ supplier security questionnaire that we send out to all of these different people who want to be suppliers for our laptops. And from there, if any company that applies to this fails on any one of those questions, they're not allowed to become any of our trusted suppliers. It's a very rigorous vetting process. Once they do pass that, we get them added to our trusted supplier list. And part of being on that means that they have to agree to a supplier security agreement as well as supplier physical security audits, which means that we can come in randomly audit at any given time just to make sure that they're living up to the level of security that we expect from all of our suppliers. If there's any breakdown in that, we either work with them to fix it, or if they are not able to do that, we drop them off our trusted supplier list and we'll no longer do business with them. So we're right now the only ones in the industry to do anything like that. And it's something that we definitely really pride ourselves on as far as making sure that all of our commercial notebooks, desktops, etc., are safe and secured, and our customers at the end of the day have peace of mind. So security is top of mind for most Lenovo customers, and cybersecurity is a CEO issue from McKinsey. And the titles may vary, but these include Chief Security Officer, who acts as CSO and makes decisions about data loss. Now, $3.5 million is the average per incident cost of a data breach, which is massive, especially for smaller businesses. And 63% of these breaches involve weak or stolen passwords, such as password being password. And greater than 300,000 new malware samples are created and spread every day. And 87% of senior managers have admitted to accidentally leaking business data. And that's not just any kind of small random mom and pop shop. These are multi-million-dollar corporations that are all having these issues. And I love this quote, and I will get into why in just a second, but every company has at least one employee who will click on anything, and that's pretty hard to protect. So this is from Brad Smith, who's the Microsoft president and CLO at Microsoft Inspire 2017. And the reason why I love this quote is even Lenovo has the people who will click on absolutely everything. So a couple of years ago, we did have a very, very high-ranking executive click on something and gave our entire sales floor a virus. So, it happens to everyone. It happened to us. It'll happen to maybe you, maybe your customers. This is a big thing, and this is why security is becoming more and more important. There's so much more data in the world now, and it's data that we have to learn how to protect to make sure it's not getting into the wrong hands. So that brings me to Lenovo's security framework. So this is how we assure security through trust and transparency, and it relies on four key pillars: data, identity, device, and online. So how are we protecting your data, whether that's your local data or up in the cloud? How do we protect your identity to make sure that your passwords aren't stolen, your identity isn't stolen, and none of your accounts are breached? Uh, Device security. So how do we ensure that anything on your device is not accessed either remotely or locally? And then your online security. So how do we protect your browsing data, any kind of autofill passwords that you might have, etc. And some of that comes through what we put on our devices. So we have TPM 2.0 chips. We have a Think Shutter, which actually allows you to turn off the webcam mechanically. So little things like that. But then also some of it comes through partnerships that we've established with leaders in the industry. And all of this is for customer enablement. And now evolution of the workplace. So IT automation is going to be a big piece of that. So we want to see how IT can become a competitive advantage by being cost efficient and providing better service quality. So at the end of the day, we don't want to provide just a laptop or a desktop or workstation or server, etc. It's about a solution. We're packaging everything together to address the customer's need. So today's opportunities don't wait. Businesses must react with speed, flexibility, and efficiency. Now, part of that solution piece is a software piece as well. So what we provide is a single web-based workspace. So at Lenovo, we have many third-party websites and applications that we use on a day-to-day basis, and the bookmarks tab in Chrome will only do so much. So this is where I personally rely on Unified Workspace to manage my day-to-day. Essentially, it'll consolidate all my sites and applications in one easy to use and customizable console. Another piece of that is Lenovo Patch. And what Lenovo Patch does is that essentially it takes all of these Microsoft updates and OS application updates, etc., along with driver updates, BIOS, third-party application updates, etc., and pushes them into an SCCM console, which then will spit out all of these updates and push them out to targeted client systems. So your sales team might need a specific set of updates, but your IT team or executive team might need their own specific set of updates. So these, just keep these in mind as you are talking to your customers. Again, when you're sending a device out, make sure you're adding these things on just to address the entire solution, what your customer needs. So again, Lenovo Patch, what it allows you to do, it just simplifies those BIOS and driver management. It reduces your risk with third-party watch and also leverages existing expertise. Premier Support is a service that we try to attach with every device that we send out. Reason being is that it gives you a dedicated 800 number. So again, when you're talking to your customers about this, they have a dedicated 800 number that they can call into. There's no kind of like dial 1 to talk to XYZ or press 2 for whatever. So again, you get straight to the point. You have one single point of contact for full end-to-end case management, and it allows advanced technicians to provide these professional unscripted diagnoses. So when your customer calls in, they're skipping that level 1 support and going straight to an advanced technician. So no one's going to tell them, did you try restarting your computer? Are you sure it's plugged in? They assume that whoever's on the phone has at least that level of expertise and can, troubleshoot at least to that level. So this will be advanced technicians. The other key component of this is hardware and software support. So your customer is not just going to be getting any help around the hardware. If they're running something like AutoCAD and they're running into issues, they don't know if it's hardware, software, that 800 number Premier Support will be able to at least isolate the issue and let them know what's going on, whether it's a hardware issue, software issue, and then provide at least base support on software. The other thing is this is on request, but you can receive quarterly reporting of service levels. So this is something that you definitely want to be telling your customers about. It is available through at least our entire commercial PC desktop line, and I'm not entirely sure on the server side. And then protecting your data in the cloud. Because again, that's really important to make sure that everything is safe and secure and not getting into the wrong hands. So it is online data backup, defense against malware, big one. Ransomware damages rose to $6 billion in 2017, and that's just going to keep going up from there. Automatic data protection, so repeatedly detects and backs up new and changed files. Military grade security, it adheres to the same standards employed by the military and trusted federal banking institutions. And then storage flexibility as well. So it's pool storage, which eliminates the need for individual licenses or license management at one set price. So looking forward, what can we expect to see in the workplace? Our answer to support the age of intelligent transformation is to partner with our customers and partners to deliver customized solutions for specific environments. Now, Lenovo's big slogan is different is better. So when we say different is better at Lenovo, this is what we mean. We're the company that leads in all key competencies based in the cloud, distributed through the network, and delivered by devices. We invest 3.2% of our total global revenues in R&D, and this commitment ensures that we're also leaders in AI, AR, and other emerging technologies of the IoT or Internet of Things. We're striving to create a personalized computing experience for all of our customers and their end users to support dynamic and ever-changing environments. So to kind of wrap things up, we are not just a device provider. We do not just sell laptops. We do not sell just desktops, etc. We provide solutions. So what we are not able to provide in-house, we partner with these leaders in the industry to deliver a complete solution for you to sell to your customer. So that wraps up for me. If you need any more information on this, please visit www.lenovo.com/efficiency, or you can connect with us via Twitter at Lenovo Business. And if you have any questions or want any more information about anything that I discussed, please follow up with your dedicated Lenovo sales rep. So that's going to be Dan Cox specifically for Rahi, or an end user Lenovo rep, which he can also put you directly in touch with. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all your time.
Okay, so thanks for that presentation, Disha. We have a number of questions in through the chat box. And again, as mentioned earlier on, we'll try to get to all of the questions. If we don't get to them, we will come back individually and answer those after the actual presentation itself. So the first question in, Disha, is Lenovo starting to move into the software space?
Lenovo is primarily a hardware company, and we're going to continue to be that. However, we are shifting our mindset from being device-driven to solution-driven. And so software is a big piece of that, as is services.
Okay, so question 2 in, it's a mix of a comment and a question. So it reads, client services aren't really a big focus for us. We're comfortable with the margins we see on the data center side. So why should this be a focus point for us?
That's a fair question. So at the end of the day, you have to focus on what works for you as a business, and data center needs are booming. Again, I'd mentioned in my presentation that the amount of data that's in our world now is staggering, and that just continues to grow every day. That being said, though, if you're selling servers into an account or any kind of other data center devices, they're buying endpoint user devices also. So if your customer's not buying them from you, they're definitely buying them from someone else. And if you already have that relationship there, then why not maximize the revenue?
And question 3 in, I think it's more of a comment. The comment reads, the Lenovo process is hard to navigate. There's too many different links and points of contact, and that makes it all frustrating to figure out.
So I completely understand that, and working with any large organization can be frustrating to kind of navigate the process, et cetera, and every company has their own different, process. So we try to make it easy for you. As far as client opportunities go, reach out directly to Dan Cox. He is assigned to Rahi as your dedicated account manager. And if he has to loop in the end user team, he can do that for you. But it helps to get things on his radar just so that he is able to help navigate that convoluted process for you, because we are accustomed to doing that, and he more so. Now, when it comes to workstations specifically, I actually am assigned to Rahi as your workstation specialist, your dedicated workstation specialist. So any workstation type opportunities come up, you can either go to Dan, as I mentioned before, he can be your step one for everything, or you can reach out directly to me. And my contact information is dsharma3@lenovo.com. That's D as in David, SHARM as in Mary, A, the number 3@lenovo.com. So you can reach out to me directly, or again, I would recommend just reaching out to Dan as a step one if you're not sure how to navigate that process.
Okay, and I think we have time for one last question. So the fourth question is, you and your competitors all have too many devices to keep straight. Portfolios are bulky and it makes it difficult to figure out what's what or position a Lenovo system effectively. Is there an easy way to figure this out?
Again, he will be able to help you navigate you through that process. And with him as your account manager, you can expect a lot more trainings going forward on what exactly our portfolio looks like and how it lines up to our competitor products. And again, from the workstation side, you have me as well. So where that starts to get a little bit complicated, you can always loop me in and I can find the exact match to our competitor devices.
Okay, so that comes to the end of the questions and answer session. Thanks again to all of the questions that came in through the chat box. There were some very good questions in there, along with some comments as well. And again, I'd like to thank Disha for her time and effort through the presentation. It was very informative. But for more information on Lenovo and Rahi systems, please contact and visit our website at rahisystems.com. We hold our regular webinars every month, and we look forward to seeing you again on the next webinar. So again, thank you for joining and have a great day.